Welcome everybody to the Poke Battle Network. Today I'm with Brown Baller and we are going to be breaking down a tournament run that I had with the Flash for Everybody crew. That's right, Flash for Everybody had our first ranked crew-tastic tournament. It was flash-tastic indeed, for the Crypt Cup that DevonCorpsGG had brought out for the month of October. If you did not see the breakdown that Brown Baller, myself, Hurricane Kaz, and Fish on a Heater did, the link will be down below. Go get yourself the breakdown and find out what the Crypt Cup is and find out how our first look tournament went as we went through that. But we are here now with this tournament, breaking down the Crypt Cup. Brown, how are you doing, and have you been spooked out yet by the Crypt Cup?
I have not. I mean, we did some practice battles because luckily I was able to get them in with you. I was like, hey, Sosa, let's do some practice battles. So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, not only that, but these viewers, you guys can get your practice battles in as well in the Flash for Everyone Discord. That is down below. Not only that, there's other links in there you need to be clicking as well as that subscribe button. It greatly helps the channel grow. So, please, if you haven't hit that, please already do that. But, yes, so the Crypt Cup, I have not got to do it ranked yet, but luckily for us, we are able to have your ranked battles today. So I'm looking forward to asking you a bunch of questions, breaking down your thought process and understand what you're seeing and understanding how you battle these battles. So realistically, let's, look at the team you brought and let's talk a little bit about it. Because we did a practice tournament, when was it? Last week? On Friday?
We had our practice tournament on the 4th. Yes, the 23rd? Last Friday, yes. 36th?
Yes.
23rd?
Yeah, so...
Yes, indubitably. When I sat there debating my team and questioning it after our practice tournament, using my professor look, as you see here, my expertise look.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, that's another...
I feel like Sam Eagle from the Muppets. No, after that practice tournament was so huge for me, because I thought double poison was going to work. It didn't. And I decided to make my team super meta-ish. Meta-ish. I wasn't done making it meta yet, but I definitely made it meta-ish. And so I brought in Double Fairy, loving the combo of Double Fairy, Wheezing and Clefable, so strong. Then I had the Marowak. I really liked the Marowak, and I liked Amoonguss. I had the Spirit Tomb, and I liked the Amoonguss. I didn't have the Marowak or the Lapras on the team until we had our practice battle.
Yeah.
And that was 2 days before this tournament or a day before this tournament. Yeah. And I was like, do I have Lapras? Okay, I've got a ranked whatever for Ultra League that isn't up in Great League yet. So I boosted mine up, built it, and played with that. And then, because it was so good, I was like, Marowak's I need ground. I need ground and rock. We talked about it in the breakdown, how rock typing is such a good typing. And so it has that sort of typing that I needed to cover some of the fairies. The G-Weezing was popping up everywhere.
Yeah. So, overall, I mean, I also was in that tournament as well. I was in that tournament. Yeah, I was in that tournament as well. Hopefully, we're going to have those at least once a month so that we can get these viewers their practice tournaments. That way they can make those mistakes, learn those matchups, and then once they get those, the growing pains out of the way and get into their first ranked tournament, they can have success. That's the big thing is, you learn from your mistakes and then you grow from them. That's the big thing. Always have to learn with battling. Just because you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. It sucks, but learning and growing. For me, that Shadow Lapras was so good for me that it was definitely something worth bringing. I brought Amoonguss. It was on the better end of things. It wasn't like the end all be all, but it was really good to have on the comp because there's sometimes I could bring it, there's sometimes I couldn't.
Was it foul play?
Oh, I had Shadow. I had Shadow
and
Amoonguss.
You had Shadow Amoonguss too. And also, was it foul play in Grass Knot?
I'm going to be honest, I cannot remember my moveset on
because I know foul play Grass Knot's like the suggested moveset, but I'm using Amoonguss as a grass poison. Like
I think I had it.
And those fairies.
I think I had it as foul play Sludge, actually.
Ooh, nice. So
but yeah,
like Mud Boys, you weren't expecting Mud Boys to come out.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter if I do because it's still a good matchup.
True.
So, and then the fourth other mon I had that you have here is the Marowak. I felt the Marowak. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was the best mon ever, but it did its job when I needed to. I definitely brought it a lot versus some teams. There were definitely some teams that it was a little less fun to bring it against. I don't recall if I brought Spirit Tomb. I think I did.
I did too.
I think I did,
and I went, why is this fool running Shadow Ball? Why is he not running a rock move? Move. Oh my goodness.
I mean, yeah, Spirit Tomb, it was okay. I mean, there's I think better mods. I think if I made some adjustments, I would have brought the fairies like you did. I think you have a very, very strong meta team. Mm-hmm. I think Clefable is low key. It's a must bring if on your what's it called? You're non-restricted. So I mean, of your restricted, you have the Galarian Weezing and the Shadow Lapras. I think those are great restricted picks. Of the non-restricted, I think your Clefable, your Marowak are two top of the line restricted picks, as well as that Amoonguss as well.
And to be honest, when we did that tournament, like I was the only one that brought poisons to check the fairies, and it was not even a thing. So there's really nothing checking Clefable. There is Mud Slap that checks G-Weezing and hits it really hard, but there is nothing really besides Clefable itself with whatchamacallit, besides an Amoonguss that really coming out to check Clefable. So I feel like Clefable, you're right, is like low key one of those scary mons coming out that could come out to play and do some good damage.
Yeah, one mon I saw come up against me quite frequently was Piloswine and a Low and Marowak into my team. So I mean, I think I'm very curious to see how this meta shapes up with those bonds and how those battles shape out with teams that are running those. I was running Shadow and Marowak. It was definitely really good for me. The low kicks matchup was a lot less fun than I wanted it to be, just because we were both doing super effective to each other. That's one thing I really noticed in this meta. Just because it looks like a good matchup on paper doesn't mean it always is. Like the low kicks, Alola and Marowak matchup is very neutral. The Amoonguss Alola and Marowak matchup was also kind of neutral. So I mean, that's the real thing I really think in this meta is there's a chance. I mean, the paper, what looks like on paper, and then in performance. I mean, once you have shields up or shields down, they play very differently.
Remember, what you see on paper also is within 52 seconds, 56 seconds. That switch is 40 seconds now. It was so big. It plays with, you got you're shooting off body slam or bone clubs so quickly. That's 10 seconds. One bone club is 10 seconds. One brutal swing is 10 seconds. It takes about 5 seconds to get there. So you're already at 15 seconds. By the time you get to the second brutal swing, all you got to do is figure out the damage calculations through a visual perspective of it, and you can swap in, swap out, and it could play huge in the game here. And you'll see it in the tournament as we're about to get into it, that I definitely brutally beat up on this switch clock. Oh, is that an immediate? Boom, swap it out immediately. Is that clock back up? Because it's Fairy Wind on Fairy Wind, giving a shields, not doing anything. Boom, immediately. So if it's a double move, if you both are tied on double move, that means the 40 seconds are up after the second brutal swing thrown on each other, or the second meteor mash thrown on each other. It's the switch timer is so good now at 50 seconds. I am
I mean, especially if you're able to set yourself up in an advantage, you can really take advantage of that switch timer being up, or be on this be into a flexible bond that may have a good matchup or may not have a that can do fine in certain situations. It's just setting yourselves up. So I mean, I have nothing more. So I mean, if you have anything more, let's get into these battles.
Let's get into this battle. My first opponent is number 69 of season 1. My nemesis, Jacharrry. All right, folks, it is round 1 of this Flash-tastic crew ranked Crypt Cup meta. And the first battler is a very tough battler in Jacharrry Brown. I mean, I've seen this battler numerous amounts of times. He comes with amazing team compositions, and his one did not disappoint. This is one of my scariest teams, I thought, when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, because it has the Lapras, it has this Dusk Noir Shadow. He's got the Weezing, the Marowak, the Clefable, and the Ariados. Like, he can come with ground and cover the or grass and cover the fairies with the poison in that Ariados, or he could just bring that spammy tanky Dusk Noir. Like, it was really a head game for me here in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the teams, I mean, you guys both have the same restricteds, which can be a little frustrating at times, especially when you're running very similar teams, because your opponent can run the exact same team as you, and it can come down to IVs, just silly stuff that can cost you wins and losses. But overall, I mean, looking at your team, that Amoonguss looks very, very safe. On his team overall, his Ariados looks like the biggest pain right now for your team. But you can't TM between movesets between the games. So, I mean, once you find out that what that Ariados is running, I think you really have a chance to dissect that team and understand what it is. I'm guessing he's running Trailblaze Lunge based on his comp, but that makes it weird into your Weezing. So give me some of your thoughts, what you were thinking, and what decisions you made and why you made them.
We'll just get into the first battle as we're gonna get into it. But remember, the Amoonguss is the grass poison type. There's no foul play on this Amoonguss. And I was thinking, I was really worried about Lapras. I was like, Lapras, if I do this wrong, I've got to play with the Clefable lead. I'm really loving the double fairy combo here that what my team provides. Yeah. And Clefable lead seems really safe, especially if I catch that G Weezing. So I've got, I mean, G Weezing is so strong. You've got this Lapras that's going to throw a Surf or a Skull Bash. Throws the Ice Beam.
Oh, Ice Beam!
Even better. I'll take whatever now. Now that that's exposed, I'm not really worried about Skull Bash, and my Meteor Mash could do some great damage here.
It really can. I mean, I think, didn't we like look at this battle before just me and you practicing a little bit when we were playing this? So, I mean, you kind of learned how this matchup went. I mean, you pulled both shields.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a fantastic spot for you. Does anything on his team resist an overheat?
No. So Lapras now is gone, and my boy could just G Weezing could just do G Weezing things.
Wow.
And G Weezing until I married it up immediately. I was like, I'll take the body slam or the mud bomb. I'll put up that shield. I'll get all of that energy, because if Lapras come back, I'm ready for it. I want to beat it. So, and then also Rock Slide too, if it's the Ariados in the back, because remember, I'm really scared with that grass. And it is. And I'm like, all of the energy. Rock, again, showed real strong, surprising dominance for me. I was really happy with how I was able to get to these Rock Slides. The Marowak providing that. And also, my Spirit Tomb, again, has Rock Tomb as well. So, like, Rock is just such a great, great typing in this meta. I felt it was going to be good there.
Yeah, so let's take a question and ask a question before we go there. So, when you got that shield advantage, how were you feeling? What were you concerned about in the back with that shield advantage?
With the shield advantage, nothing. At that point, I knew I brought my Marowak in immediately with their Marowak, and I could get that energy. And G Weezing that I had left over there, sitting there waiting, like, could build up energy quickly. But the Marowak with that energy and that moveset, I felt like I was good to build up for whatever and soak in. The only thing, again, I was worried about was the Trailblaze on the Ariados, and that's why I was building up for those Rock Slides. Like, if Weezing was coming, Marowak's there, Mud Slap, Bone Shot, or Bone Club, Mud Shot, or Mud Slap, and it's gone. If how does Dusk Noir came back, I'd be a little afraid it had Ice Punch. And it would hit me with Ice Punch, but since Lapras was off the table, and Clefable wasn't going to want to see anything that Marowak had either. Like, the only thing I was really concerned about was Dusk Noir, but it needed to have a Shadow Ball ready to go.
Right. Well, actually, Dusk Noir doesn't learn Ice Punch. It's Dusk Collapse that learns Ice Punch. So you were actually Even better. So
yeah.
I guess what adjustments do you think that your opponent was going to make to that? Because that Clefable did a lot of work. How do you think your opponent prepares for that? I think you're probably expecting the Ariados to come back, but how?
I expected Ariados to come back too. I expected them to lead with G-Weezing, and then I expected them at some point to bring in the Dusk Noir.
Okay.
Like, I expected it. It's so tanky. It's so good now. That Shadow Punch, again, 35 energy. There's not a lot that get to it. Astonish is doing so much good damage now. It could really put some pressure down as long as it didn't see my G-Weezing again. And then Amoonguss I haven't revealed Amoonguss' moveset yet either. So Amoonguss sitting there being anti-fairy, I felt like Dusk Noir was going to come, and I might have to bring in Spirit Tomb for that game.
So, last question. What adjustments did you feel like you had to make? Obviously, you're in a good position the way you played that first game. It was fantastic. Did you think you needed to make any adjustments, or did you want to try and do the same thing again? But, like, how do you keep your opponent from just, hard predicting your line?
I was benching Marowak and bringing in Spirit Tomb or something else at this point. Like,
okay,
that's the game plan. I don't remember what I led here, but that's the game plan.
Well, let's go ahead and find out. Let's jump into this next battle and just talk us through what you're seeing.
Like like I said, I really felt that Dusk Noir was going to come after watching those battles. You feel like the fairy. He had the same game plan as the double fairy. Didn't work in his favor. Because I married it up. And I get the lead. Spirit Tomb Dusk Noir. And there's the Lapras. So again, Spirit Tomb rocking that rock typing, and I'm here for it. I'll give up the shield. This is gonna decrease this locked in energy of the Pokemon. I make the swap, and I'm like ready to go. Swift is so fast, my man. It's so fast.
What were you thinking was in the back at this time right here?
A fairy. Okay. I felt there was gonna be fairy or Ariados.
Okay. So if you did see a fairy or Ariados, how did you feel like you set yourself up in the position to succeed?
Yes, because Lapras is so tanky. And I got my boy Spirit Tomb with all the energy. And now here he comes coming in. I didn't get a shield off that, but Jacharrry is making some interesting plays, but I could tell he's building up for those 2 Shadow Punches.
Are you thinking about preserving your Spirit Tomb here, or what are you trying to do? Because he just double shielded.
I want to chunk this thing down, and then I want to bring in Lap to get energy, but Sucker Punch is doing so good that I know he's going to get rid of Shadow Punch. So I want to see if he's going to go for double Shadow Punch. And like I said, I want to bring Lapras back in. Look at what Ice Shard's doing. That Dusk Noir is
up energy too.
And I'm full of energy, and it is even better with the Marowak now.
There is none in the back. So, I mean, this should be a win.
Exactly. And so that was the game plan I had. Catching the Dusk Noir right there was huge on the Spirit Tomb. Calling it. I could feel it. Like, it just wanted to play out. You could tell he just wanted to play the Dusk Noir. It's so tanky. And he brought 3 tanky Pokemon. He brought the Marowak, he brought Lapras, and he brought Dusk Noir. And I was just like, so exonerated. I took round 1. This is the first matchup of my ranked season. I took it against Jacharrry. I think I'm like 2 now and infinity against him. I've just not been in a good position, and now I feel good about it. But I got the W. These sinister, these ghost metas, I love them. But you can't play it with the. If you give me Spirit Tomb, the reason I have Spirit Tomb on my team is because of Sinister Cup, because it was good in Sinister Cup, and now it can be good in this cup with that Sucker Punch, with that Rock Tomb. Because if it was Ariados in the back, I could get to that Rock Tomb and hit that Ariados. If I was to have thrown the Rock Tomb immediately onto the Lapras, I'd have gotten a shield and then swapped out. But then my thing would have been out of it, or he would have hit me with Ice Beam, which would have been too effective. So, the Spirit Tomb, baby.
So, one thing we have not seen is that Amoonguss in your 2 games. Like, I mean, in my opinion, your Amoonguss looks very, very safe into his team. Like, what were you thinking about bringing it versus not bringing it? I mean, obviously you haven't bring it, but had success. Like, you can't complain. But
I'm just so terrified of Ariados. Because Amoonguss is so strong, I'm just terrified Ariados is coming out to play. But that being said, I definitely went ham, and I was like, I need to play my Amoonguss. I haven't played it. If I won a round, you've got in the tournament, you got to kind of play with that, or else you're gonna get locked with a certain line, and you might just completely forget Amoonguss is there on my team. Yeah, and I've done that before because I'm having such great success with the double fairy matchup that I need to make sure that I play with all of my Pokemon.
Sorry, correct. You played.
I played Lapras, Marowak, and I had Clefable. Sorry, Lapras, Spiritomb, and I had Clefable. So I still had the anti-fairy out there, which if we noticed in this tournament, everybody had a fairy or a Clefable. Like, it's like Clefable is the best fairy out there. Like, Meteor Mash is so good. But not everybody had Swift. And that will play later. We'll see how that plays out. Because that plays huge later.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into game number 3 and talk me through what you're seeing. And then what adjustments you both think you made and what you were seeing this whole game.
Like I said, I had to bring in Amoonguss at this point. So I felt like Amoonguss needed to play in this matchup.
So did you think it was better in the lead, in the back, or they got Weezing in the lead?
It's like such a good
this is not a good lead.
This is not a good lead. So I immediately swapped out because I didn't want Amoonguss to be called out yet. And I was actually really happy to see this because then I could bring in Amoonguss to farm up. But those Shadow Punches and Mud Slaps, and I needed to see this matchup. This is one I needed to see. I needed to know what Mud Slap from Dusknoir Shadow was going to do to my, or Astonished was going to do to my Shadow Lapras. I hadn't seen it yet. And I'm really grateful I did, they're all up on the energy, and I'm like, I thought I could do it with a little bit more. I didn't want him to throw against the Amoonguss again. Marowak could be in the back. So Amoonguss is there. There's the Marowak. So bring in Amoonguss.
So I guess question here for you. So you've been playing Clefable all these games. Had you brought Clefable over to Galarian Weezing, do you think you would have been better off in this game?
In this matchup, no. Not in this matchup. Because he brought that Dusknoir, I feel better because I can spam those Brutal Swings. I've got that Dark typing to spam it. I've got Overheat, which nukes the hell out of most of these Pokemon. I mean, we're talking they're in the deep red. Ready, steady, and go. Deep red, my guy.
Dang. That was close. That was really close.
Super close. Yes, I have a little health left, but unfortunately, with 1 HP and a dream. So that was the matchup there. That's what I was thinking, especially with that Overheat. Like, yes, I think I've done really well with Clefable in these first two, but I wanted to see what Overheat was going to do, and it nukes that. Again, if you notice, I'm terrified of that Ariadas. Never came.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Ariadas, didn't come in that last game. I think that was definitely the adjustment. Let's look at why they're bringing the Marowak real quick. Marowak does very well in the Weezing. I guess as long as it doesn't see... I guess if it doesn't see the Lapras or... Amoonguss probably is not that terrible. It's also probably... It's probably bad for Marowak, but...
Those Mud Slaps really hurt. No, I would probably Marowak on Marowak action. Like, I needed to get Surf. If you notice, it was like Surf, or I mirrored myself up with the Marowak mirror.
Your team was definitely very well positioned around Marowak. Unfortunately, you just couldn't get that through there. But let's go ahead.
But we got round one.
That is a round one win. So let's maybe go into the next battle.
Yeah, we're gonna head over there, and the next battle is the man, the myth, the legend, Warrior J-Mac. All right, here we go into round 2. It's, again, Warrior J-Mac. We've seen him along the circuit numerous amounts of times. He is a huge part of Flash, just like everybody else here, but he battles constantly, Brown. He just battles and battles. And if you noticed, he's got number 1 low kicks, Marowak, Alolan style, Clefable, Spiritomb, Marowak Kanto style, and I actually was terrified when I saw it. Piloswine. Again, these ice Pokemon putting on that pressure now with Powder Snow doing what it does, and it has Avalanche and High Horse. That covers so much of the meta. It's insane. And I was like, oh god, because I have Kanto Marowak, and I think Kanto Marowak looks really good against most of his team, except for that Trailblazing low kicks, but that Piloswine puts me in check, man.
Yeah, it's a very, very neutral matchup for both sides. So I mean, low kicks is obviously very highly ranked in this meta with access to the newly buffed Sucker Punch, as well as the ability to buff those Sucker Punches with Trailblaze, which can hit the Lapras for super effective, and the Marowak as well as resisting those Amoonguss Astonishes. And the Spiritomb is also resisting low kicks is resisting the Spiritomb's Sucker Punches. So realistically, you kind of have those fairies look pretty strong for you in there, as long as you can avoid that Alolan Marowak.
Yeah, Alolan Marowak looks so good. But the thing about low kicks trainers I've noticed at the beginning of this meta is they always lead low kicks. Low kicks is a great lead. So knowing that, I'm trying to apply to work around that, and we're trying to see what he can do there. But always these.
That's very good insight, actually.
Huge.
That's,
Huge low kicks lead. So I like to lead the Galarian Weezing here on that matchup. Again, I like that double fairy. Yeah. Got the Galarian Weezing just for it. And again, the Piloswine, something I'm trying to avoid, thinking that he might have brought it as the lead here, but low kicks.
Yeah.
Here we go into the Bone Club. I'm like, all right, we'll go shield for shield. And there it is. I've got the energy, and I get the Lapras.
Okay,
so this is where I was so happy.
Okay, were you concerned at all about Stone Edge at this point?
I should have been, because I was literally like, oh, I'm going to let it go. And I literally stopped myself.
Man!
This Lord Stone Edge. Son of a... But it doesn't KO like Surf does. And if we remember the... Piloswine is super weak. So that Surf KO'd, and it was absolutely huge. And now I get a Amoonguss onto this Clefable, and I'm ready for it. Because of the Marowak, because of the Clefable and the Spiritomb, Amoonguss feels so good here. It does. With Astonish and with that Sludge Bomb. So I'm bringing it in. Swift me all you want, girl. Well, I'm going to shake it off and sludge away.
Well, not just that. I mean, look at this Amoonguss real quick. I mean, if you get it on the Alolan Marowak, you both are doing super fast move to each other, which is fine. Low kicks is probably... Lucas is probably one of the worst matchups for that Amoonguss.
Yeah.
So I mean, in this matchup, you brought the Amoonguss, the Galarian Weezing. What's that third you have?
Lapras was my third.
Okay, Lapras.
And Bruce comes in first because of Fairy Wind. Because you got caught on 3-turn, sucker. You got caught on 3-turn. Here comes the, I could get it, but I counted. They have the Swift. He's ready to go. I got to just do the damage and swap out and catch.
I think you lived this.
I should live a Swift. A medium dash, though, I do not. And I could, because I used it as a third shield, and the Astonish is so damaging, that puts so much pressure on Clefable. So,
man, that was a great play.
My game plan was to build up to the overheat, but I thought we were going to CAP and I was going to lose right there. So I realized in the micro to do that brutal swing swap, put that fast move pressure down and see if I can get it into the deeper red so that brutal swing could KO, because I had two ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, truly, there was no mistakes in that. That was some very clean battling too. Outside of the no shield of Stone Edge, I think if J-Mac would have shielded your Surf, that might have been a little scary for you, honestly.
Hugely scary.
Would you have gotten farmed down is the real question. It would have been close.
If he would have shielded... No, he couldn't, because I was still in the chunky red. Okay. And it's Lapras, right? Lapras is ice. So Powder Snow's not going to do it. But he could get to that... Avalanche, though, and take my second shield, which means the back of my team isn't going to be as secure.
So obviously I'm assuming that Pilot is probably going to come every game more than likely. So how are you navigating that Piloswine now that you've known and you're kind of getting an idea of what he's going to run? What are you thinking in your mind? What adjustments is J-Mac going to make, if any?
I don't know. J-Mac is he plays so many tournaments and so many battles. He just has an interesting playstyle, like double Marowak, right? He's gonna bring double Marowak, and I wouldn't be able to handle that because of what, the Lapras and all of the situation, the rock slides, the shadow balls, the G-Weezings would be gone. Like, I would be in a lot of trouble, especially with the low kicks. I don't know. I'm thinking bringing in Clefable again because I think it's super safe on his team, and I'm thinking of in the Fairy Winds again, and I'm thinking of bringing G-Weezing again just because I feel the low kicks is coming.
Yeah, so like
I feel the Pillow Swine tried, didn't succeed on one KOing me with Lapras, and so he's gonna bench Pillow Swine.
I don't know if that's the case. It just looks so good into your team, especially with Stone Edge and Avalanche. It hits everything for neutral at worst.
Absolutely.
Or super effective. I think that Pilot Swine comes. I think he wants to avoid that Lapras, but I mean, if he can set up that Pilot Swine to have shields,
yeah, he got the Marowak right onto the G-Weezing because I said,
you get a free Ice Shard. That is huge.
And knowing that he has Swift, I figured he was trying to take a shield. Now he's in such a great position. So double Swift right there. We played that matchup out. We've seen it already in matchup 1.
We're going for the nuke.
Yeah, we're going for the nuke. Thinking that he wasn't going to shield because I've already taken one from him. I thought he was going to let it go. But he knows that I nuke. I go big or I go home. So I built my defense up there. That was the whole plan.
If you didn't nuke and that was a fast swap. Wait a second. This is super effective.
Right. And here comes
he ain't got no shields.
He ain't got no shields.
Does this kill?
Rock Tomb. It does.
Oh!
It does.
Hold up. I did not expect that.
No, but this Fable is going to run amok in a second. So we're in a lot of trouble.
I guess why didn't you kill it here?
Brutal swing. I don't know why I didn't go for the brutal swing here. I should have.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
Because I was expecting a catch.
Wait, is that a low Marowak?
It's a regular Marowak.
Okay. Ooh, yeah,
so
we're still.
You see, Overheat does like 75% of its damage. So.
I mean, even if we killed a Clefable, though, I think that Marowak was still a problem.
Yeah,
I don't know.
100% a problem.
So, I mean, we got that shield advantage like we did in the previous times, but actually, it didn't pan out here. So, like, people are really liking bringing Marowak into your team, which, so he made some adjustments. He brought the low kicks. He brought the Marowak. He benched a Piloswine, right? Clefable, Marowak, low kick was the line.
I told you, he benched the Piloswine because he really wanted that ground still, but he got the rock out of it. Like, he got the rock. So he had Marowak Alolan in game 1. He brought Marowak Kanto in game 2. I don't think he brings Marowak game 3, but Marowak Kanto did so good in game 2 that I feel he's going to bench it and put it in the back. I don't think he's going to lead with it because I think he thinks I'm going to bench my homeboy.
Yeah, so I mean, like,
the lead is so good. I don't remember it, but I just remember it being so good, catching the lead on this one.
Right.
Because we play, I think it's both. I think we both play the G-Weezing or the Mirror in the lead here. I feel like low kicks is coming again. So I bench Spirit Tomb and bring in my double fairy because I haven't brought my double fairy line, I believe.
Okay. That double fairy line has been this fairy's been very strong.
Yeah. So Clefable.
I mean,
no. So Clefable. Yeah, double fairy. There it is. Double fairy with Lapras. So
he's staying in.
He's staying in. So like I said, I get a good lead here. I put up a shield. He's gonna throw. He's got Shadow Ball. I got up to 2 Meteor Mashes now, and now we'll see what he plays in this matchup.
Okay.
Gives up the shield, and I'm tapping it. I'm tapping it. We're ready for it. We're not going to get caught. Double Meteor Mash, and he's gone. Now we got Clefable looking so good right now.
Yeah, this is not a good matchup for Clefable. Oh, this is interesting.
So I get swap out and bring in Marowak, which is fine for me. So
I was expecting a low kicks in the back.
I was expecting
based
it too,
on
but remember, we talked about how Marowak did so good in that last matchup.
Did this Marowak just lose to Galarian Weezing essentially with zero shields?
For the most part, yes. For the most part, because
Have you even revealed your third?
No, Lapras has not been revealed yet.
Okay. Oh.
So
okay.
I'm gonna be able to shield that and take. It's fine. I can take this Lapras. Lapras can take this. All of his energy is gone.
Are we surfing or are we?
We're gonna go straight surf. It got a boost, but I mean, we know Meteor Mash can't do it, and Swift from there can as well. I'm gonna go for the Ice Shard. We're gonna take it down. Oh dear Lord, we're gonna take it down.
Damn, those were good plays. I mean, just not seeing that low kicks there was a little bit surprising for me personally.
Right.
I thought that low kicks would come, and I thought, especially when that Clefable came into the Clefable, knowing you have Meteor Mash and we're going to outpace, like, that's a shield for you. But I mean,
exactly, and I thought the same thing, and that's why I stuck with Clefable and the whole time, and I didn't swap out yet because I was like, I've got Meteor Mash. I can get to even a second Meteor Mash before he gets to his first. Throw it and then dip out and get energy onto whatchamacallit. So yeah, I guess really intrigued by his play, but yeah, we got the second round. Game 2.
I guess before we get into that next bout, I guess one thing I think overlooked going into the analysis of that is your Shadow Lapras just into his team, which I think really something was we should really have highlighted there at the very end there is how you played that Lapras. Once you got those shields and we're kind of assuming a low kicks in the back, one play that I just saw you make, which I think is very, very high skill that you made, was noticing that strength of your Lapras with a shield advantage. Your Galarian Weezing, honestly, it doesn't want to see Marowak, but it can do enough if you say swap it there. Worst case scenario, you land an overheat, but take a lot of damage. But you made some a good play there, which I think was very, very, very high level.
I was gonna take out the Clefable with the overheat at that point or whatever.
Yeah,
I was really trying to draw out and get the information. Is it low kicks or something else in the back? And it was. Yeah. I drew out that Marowak immediately, and I was like, beautiful. I don't have to worry about low kicks. Lapras can come in. I can overheat this thing. So the game plan of overheating to the end. And this is, I know you, me, and Kaz talked about Sludge, and I was really hyped on Sludge. I still am. I still think the way Swift is playing here, I still am hyped that Sludge being an earlier, a lesser energy charge move and hitting those fairies is really good. But that overheat doing against those Marowaks so much damage, hitting those Clefables just as hard too, was just so overrated in my opinion, and it was so good. I'm so glad I went with overheat.
That was a fantastic play you made there. I would definitely like to highlight that play. That was definitely, had you stayed in there, I think you probably would have made it much more difficult on yourself. But even getting into that bad matchup, you played that so well that I think you're really able to really make sure you secured that victory there.
Nice. Well, yeah, thank you. And we got round 2 victory. That's number 2 in the tournament. Let me tell y'all, folks, Steven Season 1. I'm ranked 195, and I started 1-4, and my only one win was a bye, and I was really mad at myself. Now we're 2-0, and I'm really happy playing all these amazing Flash Crew guys that we have on our squad here. As we're getting into round 3 now, jumping into round 3 now here, and I'm playing Hippopotamus, the antimatter battler, part of our Gym Breakers, and Flash for Everyone TO as well. Great Flash for Everyone TO. What is Hippopotamus rocking here that I might be afraid of, Brown?
So let's
look. The Ariados,
yeah,
the Dog Fan, the Dusknoir, the Frostlass, the Florges, and the G Weezing. Like, first Frostlass. Really happy to see Frostlass out there. Happy to see Dawn Fan out there because with Mud Slap and with Body Slam, and it's Shadow too, which is really intriguing because Mud Slap got some boost there, and that Mud Slap damage is insane with the Shadow. So very, very skirted about
it. So I mean, realistically, I think this is kind of looking very similar to what we saw in Game 1 of Jacharrry. Very, very similar comp overall. There is no K-Whack, so I mean, people have been really liking bringing K-Whack into you. I think people have been making an adjustment into bringing Dusknoir into you, so you kind of know how that's going to play, especially into your Lapras, which is really good information. So, like, I think that Dusknoir Ariados definitely has a lot of play into you. And I mean, will Spiritomb come? Let's look real quick. I not Spiritomb, Florges come. I doubt Florges will come. Frostlass, I could justify Frostlass coming.
I could justify Frostlass too.
Dawn Fan, I could justify. The Galarian Weezing, I think that's probably more playable than the Florges into you. Although the Florges does have access to Petal Blizzard, but we'll see.
Let's find out.
And Vine Whip.
Let's find out.
So before we get in though,
we're in. We're in because I wanted you to see the Florges lead immediately. Wow. No, my game plan. I thought they were doing the double fairy too, and they brought in Florges for instead of a Clefable, they brought in Florges.
This is not a good matchup for Florges. I mean, that Moonblast did do a lot, but I mean, like, this is it's shield or die.
Exactly.
Okay. You lived.
Ridiculous amount of damage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm feeling really good here, even though with the debuff. Maybe force a shield or just force the lead. So
are you staying in or are you thinking about getting out?
It looks like you're out immediately. And then I'm regretting it because I'm like, oh yeah, this thing has Trailblaze.
But the first Trailblaze does the least amount of damage.
Right. I'm like, oh, I should shield that. I made a real error boo-boo play here. I said the first Trailblaze I should not have shielded. As I realized as the second Trailblaze isn't coming that But
here's the thing though is, although even though you did choose to shield that, one thing to remember is they are not switch locked. You are. So shielding that does make sense because they would have probably just swapped out.
Right.
I do think you could have maybe got away with a bait on the first one. I think this is a little riskier bait. Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
And able to...
Yeah.
Okay, what's their moveset? Is the real question.
40-second timer has been phenomenal. Now lunge. So now that they revealed its lunge, I'm feeling so much better about my fairies. Like, so much better about Clefable.
Then okay, what's in the back? Or hello.
It's their own. So we're gonna hit it with the 8, do some good damage. Then if I could swap out, which I can't go into the
yeah, farm down's unfortunate there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna see if he's gonna throw immediately, and he does. So I get my third shield. My third shield.
Yeah, he's got Brilliant Swing, and you live in Overheat. So I mean, it's just, can you not get bait? Oh, you don't have those shields, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna take this damage here. Play rough.
Oh, play rough.
Now I'm feeling even better because I'm like, I just gotta get to the surf.
Yeah.
We get game 1, and I'm feeling really good there, especially with the double fairy combo. It literally was the line that I have, only not Clefable.
So let's just take a moment just to break down what we just saw here for a second. So we see the Ariados, the Galarian Weezing, and the Florges come. So Florges, so I mean the fairies. I mean, I guess Florges is better than what I thought it was into your team.
It looked really good.
I don't. The Galarian Weezing matchup wasn't great for Florges. But I mean, their moveset is now the Play Rough, Brutal Swing, which I'm assuming that should come Galarian Weezing I think comes every game for them.
Every game, or Clefable should come for every game.
Yeah, I agree. Clefable
definitely bring a fairy for every game. And knowing what it is, I think I bring in a Moongus now. I'm about a Moongus because even though it's not overheat, right? I just feel so much better.
So I mean, if your Moongus can avoid the Ariados, it was just the Play Rough. Brutal Swing is a very weak move into it. Frostlass actually isn't that bad for a Moongus. I mean, I I think your Amoonguss looks very strong if you can just avoid Ariados, which you're doing at least neutral fast move damage to it. So I mean, yeah, your Amoonguss looks really strong. What are your thoughts on what I just said there? So
No,
I mean,
yeah, I agree. I think maybe the Frostlass comes. I don't know because I am rocking 2 really hard fast move hitting Frostlass things. So and then if I bring in those on top of a G-Weezing, Frostlass is just SOL. Like there's nothing Frostlass is going to be able to do properly.
So before I pick the next line, can I take a guess that we're going to maybe run Amoonguss double fairy?
That's a good guess. That would be a real good guess if I was that cynical. We'll find out.
Are you that cynical?
I could very well be that cynical.
Oh, there's a Spiritomb, so we're not right. Okay, this is interesting.
Awesome. Again, I was thinking that they were gonna bring in the Frostlass, and I'm actually really happy as you see Sucker Punch doing so much damage.
This has access to Trailblaze.
Yeah, I gave actually a shield just for the fact that Sucker Punch does damage, and then they swapped, and I went, "Oh yes, Rock Tomb, hello." Did the debuff, and then now it's just Farm City. So now
they have to Trailblaze you.
Yeah.
Like this is
they don't have it, though.
Well
they don't. Oh,
wait,
they have Trailblaze. They do.
They have Trailblaze.
Yeah, they have Trailblaze and Lunge. So
I mean, honestly, you could farm a little more. I think.
I didn't know if my debuff was gonna take me down so that Brutal Swing wasn't going to, and then they have a move banked in the back on the autos.
I mean,
because they still have 2 shields. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, they have
and clearly whatever's in the back is getting both of those.
You
shields.
live this, I think.
I do live a body slam.
Yeah. But I mean, you did a lot.
Slap. So it's the Florges. It's the Florges. I couldn't believe they brought it again. I was like, all right. Let's do this, baby. Let's do this.
This is going to be a little tricky.
2 shield Forges.
Okay.
They throw the energy. I'm not going to shield. It's a disarming voice. Super effective. I'll take it on that dark. And then just look at what Lapras's Ice Shards are doing.
Man, did you call it a bait?
No.
Ooh, no. No. We did not call it.
He hit me so hard. I shot right out into the sky. But a Surf comes through, which means I still have a shield. And if you look at Fairywood's not doing much. So
it's not.
I'm expecting a catch. I am expecting a catch. I am expecting a catch. And I don't get a catch. As you saw the Fairywind come through.
Well,
I don't
this
think
kills.
You saw.
Does Mud Slap kill?
No, it doesn't.
Oh my gosh!
Levers is that healthy.
Ooh.
And I thought Mudslap did kill too. I thought we were gonna get a Simo KO and
we take those.
I thought he was gonna catch 2, but I don't think he was aware of the new Surf count yet. I think Brown wasn't prepared because Surf count is 5554, right?
I think it's 6. I don't know. I don't know the new Surf counts. I have to double check that.
It's definitely not the same anymore. So he could not have been thinking about it or been off on it. So,
yeah. Or they just missed the catch. I mean, yeah. I mean,
you catch. So I was real grateful of that.
See, that is a victory.
That's game 2, victory 2-0. We're gonna have to play game 3, but I am feeling so good, Brown, because
you're playing
the tournament.
You're playing very, very well. Very good battles, very clean battles, very solid battles. But let's take a break real quick and look at what adjustments.
Okay, we'll just look at Frostlass into a movie.
Yeah, what adjustments? I mean, they can make Donphan.
I actually think they're gonna bench Donphan. They feel they just didn't do any good with Donphan. It literally got sucker punched down, and that's why I bring in Amoonguss because I was like, yeah, I'll bring it.
You bringing in that Spiritomb into your team is a little risky with 2 fairies on there, and it's definitely a high risk, high reward play. Definitely, it didn't get on the matchup you were looking for either. I mean, Donphan versus the Spiritomb is not amazing, but we have a.
They swapped in the Ariados. He swapped in the Ariados right into it, and I rocked him that, and that's why I have rocked him on.
And what's that third mon you have on this team right now?
It's Double Fairy.
Oh, so we're being cynical in game 3, not in game 2.
Yes, I remember one.
So
I just brought it to be cynical.
So why did you not bring this line game 2, but did bring it game 3? Because I think if you had brought this line last game, that would have been like
Just well, because again, the mud slaps would have done some really good. I was really worried about the mud slap. It's such a good move against both of those poison typing Pokemon. And again, Body Slam might have been a little nerfed, but it's not ridiculously nerfed. It's still a spammy moveset. And you're gonna have to shield at one point, especially if mud slaps are doing super effective damage. So the guess there was that the Frostlass was coming. I really didn't think he was bringing Frostlass game 3. I really did not think Frostlass was coming. And so I'm kind of a little irked, but I'm like, okay, Astonish does damage, so I'm good.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see how his foul plays out.
He doesn't know I don't have foul play, so I'm going to play that out as well.
So let's see how his foul plays out. I mean, I'd say Arias is a little bit interesting. Oh, we swap.
Yeah.
What are we trying to draw out here?
To see if the Donphan was in the back. And he gave me Brutal Swing. And I was like, sweet, I got a shield, it's done. I got the shield. I'll take it. I'll go shield for shield.
So what are you thinking in the back? Nothing's coming in yet.
Nothing's coming in. I'm thinking get a shield, give a shield. I'm thinking Galarian Weezing looking so good. Amoonguss is going to have a Pokemon in the back to worry about. So I'm going to shield Galarian Weezing.
Can we pause up right here for 1 second?
For game 3, sure.
You've just got both his shields. He's definitely very scared of this Galarian Weezing. So like, let's just look at teams real quick just to see what
switch timer is back up too.
It is exactly. So what doesn't want to see this Galarian Weezing? I mean,
Ariados.
maybe Ariados. Yeah. There's no Donphan then. They're like, this is clear and obvious. There's no Don.
Maybe Dusknoir is in the back and it doesn't want to see it as well.
I mean, we've seen Floor just 2 games. I mean,
I know we've seen it. We'll find out if it's in the back, but swapping out, and I'm gonna get that Brutal Swing. So I was trying to see if I could draw out the Donphan. Donphan doesn't come back.
But this is definitely getting on Ariados. It's my opinion.
But here comes the Donphan. I'm like, what is happening? Because Donphan is pure ground.
What?
And I'm like, oh, lordy. And I'm thinking, it's got to be Dusknoir in the back. And it's Florges. And I'm like, I didn't know what happened. But I was like, all right, Amoonguss. And like I said, if I wanted to be cruel, I'd bring in Amoonguss on the matchup. And I didn't think, like you, Florges was going to come. And here comes the Sludge Bomb, baby. No.
Okay, that was not at all what I was expecting to happen here.
I need to reveal Clefable.
I mean, very well played by you, especially that hard swap. I mean, you were reading the team, and that read, I mean, you just caught the opponent very stuck there. So, I mean, yeah.
I mean, G-Weezing, I don't know why he didn't bring Donphan onto G-Weezing. I don't understand because Donphan, unless it was a one-move Donphan or it didn't have Earthquake or Earth Power, like, is Overheat enough to KO? I didn't know.
I mean, I think Donphan would fast move you down more than anything, though.
Exactly.
So, but I mean,
that's why I'm so shocked he didn't bring the Donphan.
I guess maybe there were. I think. Here, maybe let me try and think if I can't think of what they're.
Matchup of the game, and they're like, "Good tournament."
I'll just not just
down, but
not just that. There is something I think we just may have actually just overlooked here.
What's that?
Say that Donphan starts committing shields versus you.
Okay.
Sure, that Frostlass is alive. Maybe he assumes you have foul play. Okay.
Right.
So say Donphan comes in, then that Florges and that Frostlass are still there. Your Amoonguss could sweep that whole team if he commits any shields, and you'd probably get a shield advantage. So I guess I can kind of justify saying it. I mean, that Amoonguss was just going to that Amoonguss had sweeping potential that last game, and we just saw it did what it did. So, I mean, I think seeing the Amoonguss, and not keeping it on the Frostlass was probably the worst case scenario, just because, I mean, one shield, having 2 shields, or no shields, I mean, that Amoonguss was still going to do the same thing.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for the Flashtastic Crew Ranked Tournament, Brown. It was super fun getting into there and battling with these guys. I've been trying to get a ranked tournament all season. I'm so happy this is my first one. It's a 3-0.
Yeah, those were fantastic battles. Very, very strong team. I mean, overall, what would you say your strength of your team was and the weakness of your team?
Strength of the team was absolutely the double fairy combo. Having those two go back to back with each other and balance out. You know, you lead Clefable. If you see a G-Weezing or another fairy, you've got the Meteor Mash. We didn't really see Swift shine as much. But it does so good, you know, going in there and winning and taking in some of those, taking some of those quick matches or pushing that pressure on that shield against your opponents. So those two guys really put some good pressure down, which allowed the rest of the team to really put that fast move pressure down that I really wanted to have down.
So what would you say your weakness was of this team?
Weakness.
Or maybe what was your weakest Pokemon you think underperformed in your opinion?
Underperformed. I mean, everybody did so good.
I mean, if my opinion, I mean,
Amoonguss,
I
think maybe Amoonguss only played once, but it was at the end, and it really wasn't that strong.
But Amoonguss had a lot of bench pressure, though, which is something I think is very underrated in that bulk. I mean,
I agree. That's why I have it. That's why I have it on the bench.
I mean, for me, I mean, just based on how your battles went, if I was playing into your team, I think that Spiritomb lost a lot of value just because of how strong that double fairy really was. I mean...
But if you notice, they brought double fairy on me. So if I bring Amoonguss with, or if I bring my boy Marowak with it, they bring those double fairies. It's such a good play anyways.
Yeah,
I know Spiritomb. I have Spiritomb... Again, for the rock typing, and then that Sucker Punch is so good against that Dusknoir.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering if there might be a better mon, maybe putting a Dusknoir there over the Spiritomb. Well, Sableye wouldn't be legal.
Oh, Sableye's not legal. That's right. I have two.
Yeah,
two.
I kind of definitely see the play there and what the thought process was, but definitely, I'm feeling Sableye. I think in our pre-show video, it looked good, but based on your team, I'm questioning if we didn't really have the meta pieced together yet. I mean, what about like the Magmortars and stuff?
That's the funny thing. In this tournament, no Magmortar. In one other tournament, I've seen a Magmortar, and now it's 2-0. That team is 2-0. Magmortar is so strong, but Magmortar is a personal play. Like, you have to really feel Magmortar. You have to really know, like, oh, my Magmortar can take this. My Magmortar is going to survive that. Like, that is Magmortar. And I was so afraid of Magmortar that I put Lapras on the team because of how strong those matchups were that you and I had, that I really felt I needed that tankiness. And I think that the Spiritomb, although it's weak and it has a weak point, it still has a strength as a tank. And I think that my team is very tanky. Maybe I do bring in my Dusknoir for my local against everybody instead of Spiritomb. But I just really like that Sucker Punch with that Rock Throw. It's a combo that you don't have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you saw, they brought in, someone swapped in Ariados, thinking that I didn't have Rock Tomb, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so strong. It's so undervalued. But I think also what you're saying.
I think honestly, Ariados looked like a very good mon in this meta overall. I think it definitely, if I was to make a change, maybe switch that Spiritomb for an Ariados. I think the Shadow Sneak Trailblaze moveset could be the best moveset in this meta.
If you wanted Shadow Sneak, because I was so shocked at Lunge.
Why? I'm just not seeing what Lunge is not really doing that much. Like,
they're just wanting the debuff.
Yeah, like, I mean, probably honestly Cross Poison or Shadow Sneak. I mean, I'd
go with Cross Poison because that thing can spam like crazy. I think Shadow Sneak would be fun, but I feel the fairies are more dominant. That's why I would say Cross Poison.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think those fairies look like they need to be checked somehow, and I think this Ariatis kind of looks like that way to check it. But I mean, overall, the team looks very, very good. In my opinion, I call it the core four, was Weezing, Lapras, Amoonguss, and Clefable in this meta. I think that I think if you pick those four, you can have two flex picks that you can really build around. Do you agree with that?
I'm gonna swap that out. I'm gonna take out Amoonguss. I'm gonna put in Marowak. I think Marowak was so much stronger. And you're like, Amoonguss is so good. It's got great coverage. Grass, foul play, and Sludge Bomb. But Marowak there really put that mud slap down on the fairies. It's got the rock again, and that Bone Club spam was so good. Like, I've seen it on teams. It's definitely one that people put as a wall to Galarian Weezing. That's why people also have Clefable, because Galarian Weezing's just starting to see all these Marowaks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's a very solid team. I think
But
everything.
I agree with your four. For me, though, in this matchup, in this tournament, I would just take out Amoonguss and put in Marowak for just this tournament. Now, in another tournament, absolutely Amoonguss is shining, and for somebody else. But for this tournament here, in the core four, absolutely. And my team is super meta. It is not non-meta, but this is a super
Yeah,
meta
it's a very bad team. If we look at PBOK, it's very high ranked. So I know we did this practice tournament together too as well. So what adjustments did you make? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you did struggle a little bit in that practice tournament, but I think in my opinion, I think I know why. You didn't have really the restricted mons, and I don't think you had a Clefable, or did you in that practice?
I did not have Clefable. I had G-Weezing. I had G-Weezing, but I didn't have any other restricted mon. I had Amoonguss, and I was doing that. But after more and more practice, it came clear, like, the Lapras was such a huge... Lapras was one of those securing Pokemon. It really, like, Dusk Noir, just really made my team feel more secure and healthy to take a damage. I think, what did I have on our matchup? I don't remember what I had, but it was something that I was like just losing to. Like, I had to shield all the time. I was like, I don't want a Pokemon that can do that. Like, I can't be taking that brutal swing damage like that, crazy brutal swing damage like that. And Lapras can soak up that damage and survive an overheat or a meteor mash.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think team is very good, and I look forward to seeing this. Hopefully, we can do a couple more of these. I mean, when does this meta end for folks?
This ends, well, you know when it ends. It ends at the end of the month. Hopefully, we'll get your tournament whenever you get us a tournament, and we'll definitely do a shoutcast of your tournament. And then maybe I will talk to the world champion. He's always been a great player here, and donating his tournament runs to the channel. But that'll be at the end of the month, so we'll have to watch that for if the world champion, or we'll have one more tournament as well that we can break down when we go through it. But the end of the month, Halloween, it's the crypt, it's scary, it's spooky, it's fantastic. The ghouls and goblins are out. I mean, did you expect the same Pokemon to come out? The Pokemon that you saw, Brown? Because you were there for our first look. You were with me. We did our first look. We see our first tournament now, our first ranked tournament that some people are doing. I was surprised that no fire came out too.
I mean, the biggest thing I definitely have to say is we saw that the Clefable having Meteor Mash. I think we originally looked at this meta. Oh, it's Swift Moonblast. That's the Clefable moonset. In this meta, the moveset is Swift Meteor Mash. Like the lack of steel moves became very, very clear and obvious when we did that breakdown. Which I think that breakdown, us seeing it visually, was a fantastic way for us to really understand that I myself am a visual learner. Absolutely. I have to learn from my mistakes to try and learn how to correct them. That way I don't make them the same time. Whether or not I do make the same mistakes again because I'm hard-headed is a different story.
Right.
But maybe the third time I've made the same mistake, I won't do it again.
Absolutely.
It takes more than 3 times, I'm going to be honest. And sometimes I still never learn my mistake. But yeah, just visually seeing that in those practice tournament we did, I think for me was very helpful. And then not only that practice tournament we did internally on our first look at the meta, but as well as the practice tournament we hosted
the other day. Yeah.
Was,
oh my God, I thought double poison, that's what it was. I thought double poison was the way because I figured fairies were going to come flying out. So I was like, Grimer. And I think I got Grimer and G-Weezing, and I just got smoked. It wasn't even fun. I just got smoked by Marowaks and Laprases. I was like, I can't. No, I'm out. I'm done. Like, even with Amoonguss on there, and I had G-Weezing, Amoonguss, I think it was Grimer, no Clefable still, and it was like something else, and I just got smoked up and down the tournament.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, I think this is a team I personally would recommend to the viewers. So if you're watching this and are looking for a team and are struggling, highly recommend this team. Yeah, it's very strong. If you don't have any of the mons, I will say, I'd say Lapras is, if you can get a Lapras, do the best you can with that. I do know you will at least require an Elite TM. If you don't have the Shadow version, I think the non-Shadow is just as functional.
Yeah.
I would say the Galarian Weezing is good. I think the Clefable is just as good. Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, if you also get the Kanto Marowak, I think I'd highly recommend it as well. I'd say if you get those 4, that Sosa had mentioned, definitely put those on your team. Highly recommend them.
I agree with that. No, I agree with that. If this team is this meta, I gotta ask you this too, Brown, because this meta has been really nice. It's actually really nice first season meta, first opening meta of the season.
It has.
Have you like? Are you happy with how this meta turned out? Are you sad? Are you confused? Does it feel perplexed you?
Here's my opinion. Anytime shadows are banned is not a meta I tend to support.
Okay.
This is a meta where shadows are not banned. Therefore, I will support it. My biggest reason, I know there's definitely reasons why they ban shadows, but overall, typically if I build a shadow mon, I'm probably not building a non-shadow, which is just, it's a very big inconvenience. That's my personal opinion, and I'm very glad that Devon at least is making into account where it's not a giant inconvenience to rebuild the non-shadow variant of the mons, which may not be as good as your shadows, because my Lapras is a rank 9 for Great League. So I love running that thing as rank 9 shadow. So I'm going to constantly use that, and I don't have the non-shadow build. That because my shadow one is more fun. It's what I grew up in the Go Battle League playing, because it's what one of my favorite first battlers I was watching, Country Nerd, used to run to number 1 on the leaderboard. And so when I first learned about that, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I loved playing the Shadow Lapras because it was something I have more of a connection in it just in the base game, because I grinded those Shadow Laprases when it was in Rocket Stops when I first came back to the game during COVID. So it's a stubbornness for me, is I really tried hard to get that Shadow Lapras. So like, I did so many Shadow Rocket Stops that's why I really love that Shadow Lapras. So this is a meta that definitely hits home with me in a different way on a personal level, which I really, really enjoy.
Awesome. What a wonderful story.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
your tournament run though. We'll
yes.
We'll talk more about your story and your history of Lapras on your tournament run. That's just putting pressure on you to actually do it. But yes, that's going to wrap it up for us here in this tournament. This was wonderful little 3-rounder we had with the Flash crew. Get a ranked in. There's more Flash tournaments you can propose anytime of ranked Flash tournament, and hopefully get 8 battlers to come join you for a quick tournament on Flash. Hopefully you do have other round tournaments as well that you can join, or your locals.
So Sosa, where can these battlers find the access to these Flash tournaments?
Oh, down below in our Flash, in the links down below for Flash Discord. You could definitely just join the Flash Discord. Just type in right there on the proposals.
Yeah, so you heard it here, folks. Just link down below, click that, join the server, and let them know Sosa sent you here.
Yes. Sosa and Brown. Poke Battle Network sent you here.
Yeah, Poke Battle Network sent you here.
Yeah,
make sure you mention that in the Flash Discord, because we get a discount at the Flash for Everyone store. If you guys mention our referral code, PBN1.
PBM1 giving you the best here in Flash. That being said, we're going to wrap up this video. Thank you, Brown, for joining me today and being a part of this tournament run I did. I can't wait to get yours down. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
This was a fun little tournament breakdown. This was really cool. I'm excited for it. We'll have to do more once the season continues to go on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely motivated. Definitely seeing those battles. I think this is definitely, if you guys are going to be in for some amazing content this season of Devon. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. It greatly helps the channel grow. So please do that if you have not already.
Thank you so much, everybody. And be sure to check out all the links down below. We will give you links to DracoViz where you can find DevonCorp tournaments. Devon is going to be there on Devon.gg. Those are where they host the tournaments, posting the metas and the leaderboard as well. And then we'll give you the links to the Discords to Devon and to Flash for everyone so you can get your tournaments in and find those Devon scripts. Thank you, Brown, for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Sosa, for joining me.
Thank you all for having a good time with us. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two here of the Crypt Cup, as it is going to be finishing up the month of October. So be sure to get your in-person tournaments or your ranked tournaments in before Hallows Eve. Thank you all for watching the Poke Battle Network, and like always, keep on battling.